Yes, I'm here. In a few seconds. Where? Okay, I'm trying to look for my glasses. Yeah, good morning from US. We are still 9:06 a.m. here. I want to welcome everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are speaking from this today. I want to welcome everybody to this interview with Prof, and I hope that we'll be able to learn two things from his experience and from what he has been doing in Africa and also globally. On behalf of BMA, I want to welcome everyone to this section and to this edition of this interview, and I hope you're going to have a good time with Prof this morning. And also, kindly note that there might be a few minutes for question, or you put question in the chat. I know when you were filling the Google form, you were asked if you have any question for Prof. So, but we'll still allow people to, to ask a question briefly. Prof is a busy man, so we'll not want to take much of his time. So thank you all for coming, and I want to welcome you once again. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Key. I really appreciate that. Okay, Prof, I would say this, that a quite number of people have been really looking forward to this interview. I'm sure they just see you online, see your papers, or hear about you on the media, and they will be like, how can we have one-on-one? I'm really impressed. When I approached you with the mail and you responded, I was like, wow, this is highly humble of you. And that we really appreciate. Like Dr. Kari said, we really appreciate you for everything you're doing in the community, showing forth a lot of things. Thank you once again. I would just say on the platform that a quick introduction of ourselves should just be on the chat so that we can have an overview of where you're from, the country you're from, the institution you are affiliated with. That will help our statistics to know how far the whole thing is going. So on this note, Prof, the first question I would want to say or to ask is for you to just tell us about yourself. Everybody knows you, but nobody really knows you in person.
Okay. Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to see that young Black African all over the world can sit together today to discuss about mathematics, the journey of myself. I would like to first of all thank God for giving us this opportunity, because I strongly believe in God, and He is my strength. And myself, I was born in a small village called Elinfobo in Cameroon, where I grew up with my grandmother because my father did not marry my mother, so I grew up like that. And it was extremely very difficult for me to go to school. I went to primary school. We were going on foot, long distance to go to school. I finished my primary school, then I went to high school also. There is a time that I dropped out from school because I was unable to pay, let us say, $10 per year for my school fees. So 1 year, 2 years, I did not go to school. And I decided to go to the next class. And I went to write exam to go to the next class, and I passed. I was I was the second person. You know, I was learning from home. So after that, I remember there is an exam in Cameroon, they call it BPC. For me to go and do this BPC, I went on foot for something like 30 kilometers. And I had to go and pass more than 3 days there. And my mother gave me 100 francs CFA. And 100 francs CFA, you know, it's less than, it's 25 naira, if you can say like that. So I went there by faith. I wrote my exam and I passed. I continue. And I got my BPC. I did my probatoire in high school because I was unable to pay school fees. So there is a miracle that happened when I was doing my, I was about to register for my bac. I don't know how you call it in there in US or Nigeria, I'm not sure. But it is after that exam, you go to the university. So I took a decision because I was in high school then, and I was young. I took a decision that's not good for me to go to high school. I should go to the day school. So what happened is that I took my application myself, and I went to one of the top lycée college in Cameroon. They call it Lycée de Coleton. And you know, I was having one slippers and one trouser that was the only thing I had for the whole year. I was unable to buy another one because it was not possible for me. So I went there. I had my file, and I met the secretary of le proviseur, the principal, and she told me, "Are you a mad person or what? What did you come? Why are you here?" So I told her that I want to see the principal, and she told me that the principal cannot see you. So by a miracle, the principal came out and said, "Everybody from this side should come in my office," and that was exactly where I was. Then I went inside. He received everybody. After he was like, he lost his mind. "Why are you here? Who are you?" And I said, "But you told me to come in." My brother, cannot lie you. At this point, I saw big people from my country. They were coming there to look for a position for their kid, and I was alone. Then I decided to. This man asked me, "What do you want?" I told him that I want to do my terminal say here, and he asked me that where are your parents? I said I don't have, and he told me that you look like somebody who never pays school fees. So we are not sure. First of all those classes are already full, so we are not sure. You have to. So then he told me, "Give me your document." I gave him all my document, and he told me that, "Okay, it is okay, but all the classes are full. What can we do?" Then when I was about to go out, he saw as tears were coming from my eyes. He said, "No, give me your file," and he kept the file and said, "The next day come." The next day he called me. He said he opened a special class, a new terminal C3, C3. They call it terminal C3 in Cameroon. So, and he told me, "You know what? You are going to, you will come tomorrow. I will call you tomorrow. If you receive a call from me, come." So he called me. I went there, and he told me, "You are #1 in this class. If you don't pay your school fees tomorrow, we are going to close this class." And I needed 30,000 francs CFA for me to register, pay more, everything about that. And I did not know where to take 30,000. I went back home and thought, "You have already given me the courage to go there, so provide the money for me." So my mother, you know, she used to be, she's not having money. She was in the bar drinking some beer, and when she saw an old man that gave her 30,000, telling her that, "Go and give this 30,000 to my son. Don't green with this money." Wow. And my mother came. She gave me that. She was shaking. She gave me the money, 30,000. That was the money I needed to register. Wow. So I passed that class. Then I went to the university. I was staying in a small room with many people inside with my elder sister. So we used to travel from Mangier I used to travel on foot, go on foot, something like 20 kilometers. I have to go there at night because I have to sit to hear what the teacher will say. So it was actually a very hard time for me. Until I remember one lady from my church said God asked her to help me. And the lady, she is a professor, Professor Bayadora. She started helping me, giving me 10,000 every month. Then what happened is that when I was at the university, I received a letter from a guy telling me that my father family is looking for me. One guy is looking for me. So I went with my classmate, Nga Owanja, and I told him that because I don't know people, I don't know who are these guys. We went there. To cut the story short, then the guy told me that he is my uncle. I saw they were all of them. They look like me. I can see this is my family. So they decided that this is going to be my father, not my biological father. So Dr. Pierre Njege, he became my father that day. That is how I was able to leave Cameroon and come to South Africa to do my postgrad. So I did my honors here at the University of Free State. I did my master with distinction. I did my PhD. Then I got a postdoc because I published a lot of papers during my PhD. I got postdoc. Then next, they gave me a position of senior researcher. And it was hard because at that time I was having the visitor visa. And I remember I went to Rwanda for a conference. After my talk, I came back and they told me at the airport that my visa, whether has expired or something like that, my visa was still valid, but I applied for new visa. They sent me back to Rwanda, like thief. They took my passport. So I went to Rwanda. When I arrived there, the number 2 of the airport said, it's impossible. You are a young doctor. You are a proud of Africa. If you want permanent resident, we give you it right here at the airport.
Wow.
So I told this thing to my university. They didn't say it's impossible. You can't go. You can't take Rwanda citizenship or permanent resident. You have to be here. So I went back to Cameroon. The university paid, the visa fees. I got the visa. The visa they gave me was very bad visa. No change of condition, no change or whatever. Everything was very strict. So I came back. The university gave me a job. Now I cannot start the work without work permit. I need the work permit. For me to have work permit, I need to go back to my country, and I will meet the lady that is there that is giving me hard time. So what can I do now? Then I was gymming because then one man sat next to me. He started asking me questions. And I told him that I'm here for this. And the guy told me that, no, you can't go back to your country. This man happened to be the professional manager of Home Affairs here in Free State. And that is Tate Maikiso. I gave him my name. He checked my name on internet. He went there, saw the minister. I told the minister that they must waive those things from my passport. And they gave me a new visa. And they gave me a waiver. Then apply for work permit, then I got the work permit. That is how I started the work here, 2015, as senior researcher. Then 2016, the rector decided to promote me. I never knew about promotion. They decided to promote me to associate professor. So they told me, just send your CV. I sent my CV. When my CV reached the Senate was divided into 2. Some people said, this CV is worth to full professor. The other said, no, he's a young guy. So they gave me 3 months. After those 3 months, they promoted me to full professor. So that is briefly my story and how I stay here.
Wow. Well, this is amazing, Prof. It's amazing. I was just telling Dr. Kayodina that it's amazing, and yet you're very, very humble. And I think it's a gift to have you in Africa.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a gift. I'm going to go to the second question, which is, can you share with us some of your pivotal moments and challenges after you resume the position as a professor?
Yes. You know, I don't want to go directly to fractional calculus, but what I'm trying to, I will go directly here is that it is extremely very hard as a Black person to shine.
Mm.
It is hard at the level of being an African. When you are around African, it is also very hard to compete internationally. Because some people believe nothing good can come from Africa. Even when there are evidence that this work, they try to do everything to destroy. Let me give you a story. The challenges I face. After I introduced the differential operator with a meter-clef kernel, find the integral, construct a calculus. The first problem, the first challenge I got was that I was in a conference in Europe, and one guy said, the problem with this derivative is the name, why Atagana? So my sister, Professor Zakia, told the person that, okay, so what is the problem? What is the problem? I don't understand. Then the guy said, no, you cannot actually name an operator after somebody who is alive. Then Professor Zakia said, it is very simple. I will take a gun, go and kill Abdon, then but she asked them the question to know, what about Capito? He's alive. What about this one? They are alive. So I confronted the guy. So now they started writing some paper against. The first paper was about the index law. Now I would like to break it down for everybody to understand the weakness of the index law. I will take simple example with simple mathematical operator that will allow us as Black African people or young African, young mathematician to understand the difference between an operator that is commutative and an operator that is non-commutative. So they said because the derivative does not follow the index law, it's not a derivative. Then I asked them the question, when Leibniz or Newton, they introduced the derivative based on the rate of change, did they put the property before, or they introduced the operator due to nature? Because they wanted to solve a specific problem in nature, they introduced the operator. Then now after the introduction of the operator, they find some property of that operator. They were able to answer that. But now, let us go to the index law. The index law means that if I have alpha and beta and apply the derivative alpha after the derivative of beta, it should be commutative. But this is the problem, because when an operator is commutative, it has some weakness because there is no scale, there's no change in scale. Now, for people that are not, they don't know fractional calculus, let me take a two operator. I'm in the a natural number. I have the operator plus and have the operator minus. You will conclude which operator is more stronger to capture more processes in nature between the plus and minus. Take 2 and 3. When you have 3 plus 2, you're going to have 2 plus 3. It's 5. That is commutative. We are in a natural number. We do not change. But when you take minus, you do 3 minus 2, it gives you 1. But if you do 2 minus 3, it gives you minus 1. Where will you put minus 1? Because minus 1 is not in the positive natural number. It's not there. But now, if you are somebody who believes in commutativity, you will ask yourself, where is this operator coming? Where is this number coming from? So you can see that minus allow us to not only have a number in a natural number, but also negative number. With minus, I'm able to understand the concept of you owe me. With minus, I'm able to understand the fact that, you know what, I don't have something. I'm in, for example, if my bank account has, I have taken more money, I'm sure I can understand the fact that I don't have money, I owe the bank money. So if you take another example of multiplication and division, which operator is more stronger? If you take 3 multiplied by 2, you do 2 multiplied by 3, it gives you the same thing, it's okay. But if you not take the division, you take 3 divided by 2 and 2 divided by 3, it's not the same thing. So, but you can see that the operator, the division is more stronger because it helps us to have a wide number of elements in nature. So that is the place where they failed to understand that commutativity is a conservative law. When something is commutative, you cannot cross the border. That is why the fractional derivative based on power law is scale invariant. You can only describe processes that follow the power law behavior. And you will agree with me that it's not everything in nature that follow the power law. There are several processes in nature that will never follow the power law. Let me give you an example. Take a dead body, put it somewhere. The decomposition start. When the decomposition starts, what happened? You will see that there is a fast decomposition at the beginning because of the decay of the blood, flesh, and the water. And that decomposition changed, it became a very slow decomposition because of the decay of bones. The decay of bones is very slow. Then there is a crossover behavior between fast decay and slow decay. That is not power law. Power law arises only at the end because of the decomposition of the bone, because it goes very slowly. So that's why you can see, you go to certain place, you will see the skeleton of a very big animal there. We speak about fossil. That is because of the slow decomposition, you know. So that was where they were wrong, because a differential operator that follow index law is not able to capture crossover behavior. Then additionally, they wrote a paper speaking about initial condition. And it is there that other people like Professor Sabatier in France, they told them that no, you are wrong. They are wrong because you cannot actually speak about non-locality at the initial condition, because there is a difference between a classical derivative that is a rate of change between 2 points and a fractional derivative that is accumulation of the past. And that what it is, an integral from 0 to a specific t. So you cannot speak about the initial condition. For example, if somebody died now, we have somebody that we love, the person died. We don't have problem when the person died immediately. You can carry your person, you can cry carrying the person, but when the process of decomposition start now, it needs a time. The initial condition is when that person died, but it needs a time for the decomposition to start. And that decomposition is what we call fractional behavior. And that decomposition is what we model. So there is clearly a difference between when a process is at the initial state and when there is now the fractional behavior that occurs. So a fractional differential operator cannot be evaluated at the origin, because we are speaking about memory. Memory means accumulation of the past. You cannot speak about memory at the origin. So they were wrong also there. Of course, that other people showed them that they were wrong. And, you know, those are the challenges that we have, but also other challenges. Some of them blacklisted me in some journal that I cannot send a paper there. If I send my paper there, you know, the paper will be rejected immediately. There's no problem. So those are the challenge that, you know, we face as a African that I face personally, because I tried to fight. When I had a discussion with the publisher of Elsevier, he told me Africa contribute only 0.02% China contribute more than us. But the question that we ask ourselves is that, why is it that we don't contribute? Is it because we don't actually do research, or because, what is the problem? But when you look at the editorial board will tell you everything. How many professors of Africa are editor-in-chief in Elsevier, for example? Maybe 0.00001%. How many Africans are editor in top journal in Elsevier, Springer, Wifle, and the other one? A small percentage. So when I become editor in some journal, it was clear to me that when we see, we have to promote paper also from Africa, paper from Pakistan, paper from India, paper from developing country, because if we want to prioritize, you know, we need to prioritize paper coming from developing country. Because of that, some people start saying, no, Abdon is doing everything to make sure that a small country publish in big impact factor. And I had a lot of problem because of that. I had problem until people created, email. They created fake email. They sent messages to many people, bad messages about me. They send message here. They send message to journal. They make comment on my papers. So, of course, you cannot shine as a pure person without having problem. Jesus had problem. For people that are Muslim, they will also see that even they had problem, because when he's saying the truth, people they will fight him. So those are the problems that I face, and it was really hard, but I fought seriously.
Sorry. Just 1 minute, sir. Okay. Yeah. In fact, this is getting to hear this. It's really a lot, and I can see that I know that the first person I heard about you from mentioned that I like what it's doing, especially for the liberation and emancipation of Africa, and getting to hear all this that you've gone through. Permit me to say that you're still going through, right?
Yes.
And hope it's not going to be bad if I say that you will still go through.
Yes.
How are you maintaining mental health balance and your mental state? Because you are more like a pathfinder, and a quite number of people are making use of that path to grow up to the ladder. And sometimes, because you cleared the path, you would have gone through a lot of injuries, some hurt, some you will have healed, some the sky is still there. So how do you maintain your mental faculty, your balance between your mental states and all this that is around you?
In God I trust. He is my power. He is my God. And I trust him, and he is with me. And when he is with me, no matter whatever you do, the devil tried to tell Jesus, no, if you do this, I'm going to do this for you. God will always raise. God will always make sure that I'm alive. And God will also always make sure that no matter whatever people do, I will still stand. And what I learned in life is that don't look at what you have done or what is happening around you. Look in front of you and have your focus. And my focus, before I die, a child of Africa will be glad to say, I'm African. The same way a child of UK is glad to say, I'm from UK. So if I put my hand down to say, you know what, it's finished, I'm not sure that somebody will do it at my place.
Yeah, you're very right, sir, because putting all your anchor on him, it's one of the things that has sustained you. You've been able to get strength or energy from the prospect ahead, and I think that's one of the things that has been helping you. Which is going to lead me to a question I want to ask. Now, the question is, there are still a whole lot of roadblocks for early career researchers who are Black, growing. And what would you say? And a quite number of them comes from an underrepresented group, underrepresented community. They don't have access to some of these things. There are certain Black countries where the way mathematics is being taught, it's not even being taught in the applicative way that could actually compete with the Europeans. I think it has to do with self-determination that makes a quite number of people break through. Because the truth of the matter is, in the Black race or the African region, they're really doing research as well. They are championing a quite number of things. At least I know of Professor Lungiso. I think that's a former Vice Chancellor of the University of Pretoria, and a quite number of these people. So what would you say, or what would be your advice to the early career researchers that are coming up? How can they, now not many of them have the same strength, the same capacity. So what can be your advice to them to break through some of this barrier?
In the normal situation, those professors that you have quoted, that is the question, it is a question we are supposed to ask to people that are standing now in front. What advice are you going to give them? I don't think that it is time for us to prepare advice for them. It is time for us to fight such that they should not go through it. There is a time to be slave. There is a time to take other people like God. And there is a time that you acknowledge the fact that there is only one true God. That God created all of us in his image. And because he created us in his image, we can stand and fight for the next generation. I'm not going to wait to give advice to those young ones. I'm going to fight to the end, such that God makes sure that the next generation of African researchers should not have the same problem that the previous generation had and that the generation has. But what I want to tell young African people is unity. When you people are united with the same purpose, God bless. When you remember the history of the Tower of Babel, although they were having a wrong agenda to challenge God, but the fact that they decided to be united, you can understand the reason why God said, let us go and confuse them. But imagine that we are united with the same plan that will please God. He will not say, let us go and divide them. He will say, let us go and give them strength. So they should be united. We should be connected, each other, united. Then we will be able to bring Africa in front, in the previous glory. Because remember, what we don't understand is that mathematicians from the global north used to come in Africa. They used to come in Africa because Africa was a temple of knowledge. Even trade. Even Jesus himself, he came as refuge in our continent. Abraham, all those historical figures, they came here. But today, you see that today we have to beg to publish, we have to beg to do this thing. So I'm not going to wait or gather advice to give people. I will fight to the end until there is a change. And I will beg other people that are having power in our continent to continue fighting. Our government to give us more power, to empower us. so that one day the next generation should not go through what we are going now.
That's absolutely sound, sir. And well, I want to believe that with what you've said now, a lot is coming up about it. People, I believe that there are some people who are having the same mindset, but I'm sure that them hearing you would propel some things within them, you know, to start coming up with these. Now, there is one of the questions some of the participants, and let me just say this, please, in case you have question, just drop it on the chat box. Dr. Kayode would pick it up from there when it is time. One of the questions that was being raised there was that everybody know Professor Abdon Atagana, and the things you, in fact, it's more or less like to the little babies coming up, they hear about your name, and some people want to collaborate with you because it's one of the things that they see. But before that, are there any mentoring group that you have or any cohort that you do? Because these days, quite a number of people are using the social media for visibility, for voice, because the voice travels faster on that spectrum than, you know, the gathering and everything. So they wanted to know, do you have a cohort or a gathering where you mentor or you meet with the prospective scholars coming up or early career researchers, irrespective across the continent of Africa?
Yes, you know, those things come with some prices. For example, I am the chairman of African Mathematical Union Commission of Research and Innovation. So one of the things that I'm trying to do is that, first of all, to put all African mathematicians together, and then we start collaboration. During that collaboration, we see what we can do for the next generation. For example, create center of doctoral center, postgrad center of modeling or something like that, and you know, motivate young people to do research, interdisciplinary research that will help the whole Africa, you know, to solve problems in Africa using African knowledge. And of course, we have also our friends in different countries like Turkey. We have our friend in countries like Saudi Arabia, Mexico, India, Pakistan, all those countries. We have people there that we collaborate with them. But the point is that I can't do that alone. I need at some point that African country should empower us for us to achieve that. Yeah. Because if we really want to change the future of our continent, we need to promote things like science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And to do it, we have to go through African Union. Yeah. Where I will be able to invite you here in South Africa, and you will not pay, you will not need visa. When and I can go to Egypt, I will not need visa. When the government could put some fund aside for science, engineering, technology, and mathematics, so that we organize events like workshop, conferences, and all those things to empower young African people. Let me tell you what I noticed. What I noticed is that in our continent, we only promote, you know, things like football, we promote things like music, we promote things like all those things. I'm not against those things, but I want to tell you something that is a fact. The reason why those things are promoted in undeveloped countries is because in the history of slavery or colonization, somebody that they consider as inferior, it may be a black person, it may be Indian person or Pakistani, they use them for entertainment. The only time that a black Pakistani or those other country could be celebrated is when they are doing things like sport, or they are playing, or they are dancing. That is the time that they could be celebrated. But you will never see at that point somebody said, oh, this guy won Nobel Prize, or this one won Abel Prize. No. So that mentality is still, that colonial mentality is still around us. When we celebrate things that cannot change the continent. You cannot change the continent by running. Okay, guys, let us run. The first person that we reach there, is the hero of the continent. We need people to sit to think how this road will be created from South Africa to Cairo. The obstacle that we are going to face there, how are we going to solve those obstacles? We need people to sit and think when there is a next infection disease, how are we going to solve that problem? How are we going to create the vaccine? How are we going to predict how much people will die? How are we going to predict how much people will recover? So we need people to sit and think, how are we going to make sure that there is food always in our continent? When we have all those things, we can then sit, cross our leg, see how people run, and upload. But for the moment, they are serious and important things that we have to promote. Look at China. You will never hear that a Chinese team is the best. It is semi-final or you win the cup or something like that. They put focus on science, engineering, technology, and mathematics. That's what they are doing well. So I can't solve that problem alone because I'm just a Atagana with big heart. And Atagana need to be used by the government for me to achieve what I want to achieve. I have tried to go to countries like Ethiopia, going to small country, using my own money to go and teach there, but I have limitation. So I'm inviting all of you in Niger. November, let us go there. Let us discuss important problems that we have in Africa. For example, why we never have field medal. Are we supposed to continue waiting for a field medal from the global north? Or our continent can create a very big award that will also attract attention of the global north for them to apply also. So that conference will be is organized in Niger. We can go there. We discuss all these problems, not only with me alone, with other our senior people that will come from the United States. We discuss. We ask them the way forward, but I will take the lead to tell them the way forward.
We can see the fire burning. And, sir, you want to say something?
I can't hear.
Oh, you can hear? Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I can hear now.
Okay, great. I was saying that we can really see the fire burning, and I want to make this invitation as well that in all these that is happening, like Black and Mathematics Association, of course, we are just like a year growing, but we are trying as much as possible to reach down into every corners of the African continent for the meantime. And as long as you're Black, wherever you are all over the world, it's a place where you can identify with. So we're trying to spread our tentacles and see how voices can be given to, especially folks from underrepresented community, because a measure of people need hope. Because once there is hope, then there is a life to see that you want to achieve ahead of time. So in all these things, we would also like to partake and be part of this, even if this is just a little contribution we can have in charting the course for others to come. There's a question that came up, and is that how can Africa on its own get funding for research. We had a webinar last year that has to do with granting, because we find out that in the European world, they have access to grants, lots of grants. Africa don't have. A normal professor, of course, I know of South Africa. In fact, let me say this. In the African continent setting, I feel that South Africa is one of, if not the only, or one of the African country that can champion discourse if they remove the xenophobic thing out of it. They don't, because okay, I don't know if you know Black Heroes of Mathematics Conference by Professor Mira Chamberlain. Okay, so yeah, I was one of the speakers last year, and somebody there asked the question, and it was like, okay, you are in South Africa, what does racism is in South Africa? Then I told them, I said, there are two types of racism. We have the white to black, black to white, and we have the black to black. Now, if they don't find a way to arrest that situation, I feel that they can champion that cause, unite every Black mathematician, and start something that will become a revolution and will give a voice to everyone that is there. So what can you say about how, when you go to the Western world, you find out that the normal professor has funds, has grants, and they get students. In fact, they get students. So what can you say about the African continent? How can they access some of this funding? At least I know that South Africa is still one of those countries that release funds. We talk about NRF, we talk about DHET, they pay for publication and all of that. But how can this be harnessed by other African nations? Because we have mathematicians there. They want to do this thing, but they kind of have access to it. What can you say about that?
You know, that is a good question, and I have been trying to do my part. For example, I had a meeting with the dean of all the ambassadors, where I wanted to give a talk to all the ambassadors that are here in South Africa. And I will call him now after this chat, that he should tell me the dates. And one of the things I want to do there is to really speak about what we have just said now. You cannot ask me to compete with somebody who has all the equipment, who has all the funding, and who is mentally ready to do research.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't have food to eat. I don't have clothes to put on myself. So one of the things that I would like to do is, if God give me the strength, I will, you know, have a discussion with the dean of the ambassador. He told me he may give me the opportunity also to speak at the African Union. Then I will go there and I will present, show them the importance of mathematics. Because when you show people the importance of a specific thing, it will attract their attention. When I was in UNESCO in Paris, you will be shocked that everybody that was laureate there was represented by the government, and other minister came, other ambassador came. You know, I was the only person representing Africa, and being in mathematics, that was alone.
Wow.
China came with close to 40 people, because their daughter got that award in paleontology. They came with the media. And it happened that the only person who got it in mathematics is an African person, that I was alone. That shows you where we put our priority. So what we need to do as mathematicians in Africa is that we need to not only put mathematics in the media for the government to see it every time, but also we must make sure that they understand the importance of mathematics, because that lady that was the counselor of the minister of higher education, the lady that got the award told me that if you are a mathematician in China, you have double portion, because they understood the importance of it. So we need to speak until African Union, the head of state, understand that they need to put more fund in education so that the researcher should be able to do proper research and be able to compete internationally. Because we cannot, when your computer, for it to start, it will turn for 3 hours. How are you going to do a simulation?
Yeah.
So we really need to do much, at our level. The media, try to contact people that are in power, speak to the right people, so that this thing should be known. But also, as mathematicians, we should also go to the industry to look for problems, solve those problems. When we see the importance of using mathematics to solve real world problems, then they will understand that there is a need for funding in this subject. So at this point, you are right, we don't have funding, and it is very hard for us to do research.
Yeah, you're right, because cutting-edge research deals with funds as well. Nobody wants to do research on an empty stomach. It won't work.
Yes.
It won't work. Yes. I'm going to ask this question. Then Dr. Coyote is compiling a question. Then he will ask the question from the people. He will ask the question from the people for like just 5 minutes. Now, the truth of the matter is, the question is 2 in 1.
Mm.
This is to ease the tension in the house now. What's your life outside academia? That's one. I knew you're gonna laugh. I knew you're gonna laugh. Your life outside academia, and what do you do for? Because a quite number of people will see that Prof Atagana, mass is coming out on his head like fire, and all that. The guy does not relax. So what do you do for relaxation? I know the family is done all of that, but what's your life outside academia, and what do you do to relax?
It is very hard. Let me tell you my routine. My routine is to get up at 4 o'clock, maybe go to gym, sometime come to the university and go home. When I reach home, sometime my collaborator will send me something I have to check. I will do the editorial board work. I will do the review work. So I have to be honest that the only time I try to relax or I try to, go out of mathematics is in December. And that is for maybe 7 days.
Wow.
Outside that period, I'm always doing research.
Mm.
And that I know is very bad for me.
Yeah.
It is bad in the sense that you get up early in the morning, you have back pain, you have low back pain. Success is only being seen there.
Yeah.
But they don't see the number of hours that you pass to think and to write.
Mm.
If you come to my office, you will see paper everywhere. Because I try to write, I try to write, I try to write, I try to write. So this maybe the third time they ask me this question. I think that I should really maybe start playing guitar or doing something, because I'm not sure I should carry on with this intensity, working hard.
Yeah.
So of course, when I go home, also sometimes my kids, we try to play, but it is very rare. Things like TV, I have in my house maybe 4 or 5 TV. I never watch. Sometimes during summer, the swimming pool, yes, we go there and we swim, we are happy, but it is hard.
Okay, so if this question is coming for the 3rd time to you, then I think you need to find a way to,
Yes.
support. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask this last, then Dr. Kayode will come up with the questions of the people in the chat box. And do you have friends?
You know, I have friends. I have people that I know that, you know, I don't know. I have friends, but I cannot specify. But in general, everybody is my friend.
Yeah.
Because whenever I receive a message from a guy from Bolivia, and he said he has a problem, there is no way I cannot solve that problem. Because in my mind, I'm saying everybody that is from undeveloped country is my friend.
Yeah.
Of course, I have some specific people that, you know, you understand what I mean? But,
absolutely.
But I think that everybody is my friend. From when I see a guy from Nigeria, I see a guy from Cameroon, I see a guy from Pakistan, a guy from Turkey, India, I just think that all are my friends. That is why I take everybody equally. That is why when I receive your message, I do not want to know who he is. I saw an African name, then I reply. So it does not mean that if I see a name, a European name, I don't reply. Everybody is my friend. You know, one of the power of God is the fact that he considers everyone. And that is what makes God who he is.
Yeah.
Like I am God, he is God. So if we want to be in his image, everybody that comes in front of us, we can see the person as a friend. But I have particular people that, you know.
Yeah. The reason why I asked is so that I'm sure you're not surprised that a quite number of people actually idolize you. I'm sure you know. Yes, a quite number of people actually idolize you, and it is also good to let them know that you are friends, you're a human being, and
Yes.
And you have a life. That's just the truth.
Yes, yes.
which is very, very true. So I'm going to give this session is to Dr. Kayode because there's a lot of questions coming up on the chat box. So you would ask this question for like 5 minutes, then we'll go back.
Okay.
That's okay. You have the floor.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Prof Atagana, for your time. Someone is asking that how have you been able to overcome the challenge of lack of funding in Africa for research?
Yes, let me tell you what happened at the beginning. It was very hard. At the beginning, I had to contact some people from Europe that were having funding so that I should be able to publish in certain open access journal. And of course, that there are some journals you submit your paper there, when they realize that it's from here, it's rejected immediately. So that is what I start doing, collaborating with people that are having some of funding. But I noticed that there is no need because some people just, you know, we need to teach young people, not only to say, put the name or something like that. So, of course, that with mathematics, I can think with my brain, write a theorem, prove a theorem, come out with the idea, send it to a journal. Even if they reject, I can send to another one. That is how I've been surviving up to now.
Okay, thank you. And this other question so is also close to the last one. Is government of Africa rarely acknowledge research by African or rarely recognize or take results of research serious. How do you scale through this type of scenario?
Can you repeat it again, please?
Government of Africa rarely acknowledge research by African or rarely recognize or take results. Like if you are doing like
yes,
data modeling, and you are doing a kind of modeling that is based on that will infer public intervention, public health decisions, that they don't take it serious. How do we scale through all of this, or how have you scaled through that kind of thing?
You know that is it is really a challenge. They always say that the prophet is not respected in his own country.
Yeah.
Whereas in Europe, you will see that even somebody who does not have your level is highly respected there, and his voice is being heard. I think that the problem that we have in our continent in general is that, as I explained before, the mentality of only giving value to sport and other thing than in education. I don't know how we can solve this problem. I don't know really. Myself, I don't know. The only thing I can advise is that let us keep on doing good research, interdisciplinary research. Maybe one day the government will be in like, you know, when COVID started, you know what happened in certain countries in Europe? Researchers said they are not going to do research. They should call footballers to create medicine or vaccine for them. They said that they should call people that are doing the actors and all those people to come out. So let us continue doing our research at our small level. Maybe one day the government, African government, will open their eyes and see that they need this research to go forward.
Yeah. Another question that is close to that is also on research. Somebody said, how can we stop having our research findings resting permanently on our shelves?
How can we stop?
How can we stop having our research findings resting permanently on our shelves?
It is big English. I speak French. Can you break it down for me to understand?
Yeah, like how can we just having our research lying, fallow on our table,
okay.
Yeah, we have done some findings and then it's just lying down there. We are not pushing it out. How can we stop?
Yes. Very good question. But remember something. We should not have a microwave way of thinking. There is one guy who got a Nobel Prize. He told me that it took him 40 years for his result to be known. So we should not be in the situation where we come up with the result today, tomorrow we want to apply it, and after tomorrow the government have to acknowledge it. It is a process. Capito, for example, told me that when he created, he put the derivative inside. It's not like he put the derivative inside. He saw it from the real world situation. So he got it, but now it is many years later that they acknowledge the effect of his result. So if Africa was having money, what we can do, for example, is when I create an operator, ABC operator, for example, we apply it in epidemiology, we see the result, we create something like maybe we transform it into technology, we show it to the government. The government realizes that, oh, this thing is very important. Then they start putting money in, they start putting money in. But don't think that if you come out with a theoretical result, that you think that is important now, don't think that everybody will appreciate it and will give you the platform to reach where you want to reach. So continue doing your research, put it on your table. Maybe one day, a minister will come in your office, take this thing and look and say, but this is the problem we had, we wanted to. So please continue doing your research. Maybe one day God will open the door for you.
I think the last question here is somebody said, how many journals are you an editor for? How many are you sitting on the editorial board?
I'm editor in many journals. But I noticed that created me a lot of problem for being editor. And I decided, to stop being editor in some journal. But I think now I'm editor maybe 10, I don't know. I'm not sure. But really, being from this side of the continent, all the eyes are on you. If there is a little mistake from the author, they accuse you.
Yeah.
So I'm editor in quite a number of journals, many special issue, but
yeah,
I think that I have to cut down a bit.
Yeah, I think I experienced that too. Dr. Jimmy knew I fired one email last week or 2 weeks ago. I was I was coordinating a special issue, and there were some errors, and they don't want to accept that you two, that you are all these editorial guys that are not in the academia, that are supposed to do their job. They didn't do their job diligently, and they were accusing myself and all other colleagues that were on that board of the special issue. And Dr. Jimmy was in copy of that email when I wrote a very strong email, and that you don't just blame. As a guest editor, I can't see everything, so you can't just be blaming us on that. So, but yeah, they apologize and all of that. But I think I know what it feels to come from this Africa, and how some of them behave whenever anything happens, and because they were just very funny and very very unfounded mistakes that they saw in the special issue when the special issue was over. So thank you for that, Prof. Dr. Jimmy, I hand over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. Abdon. I think we just have like 2 more questions that I'm just gonna ask you. Okay. I know you are in South Africa, and you know the things that is going on in South Africa. Of course, that there is really nothing about South Africa that I don't know. And other West African countries, or maybe some other African countries, they see South Africa up there. I would not be surprised after now when you will get several cold emails of people saying, is there a postdoc position? Is there a PhD supervision or master's supervision? What do you have to say with respect to that?
No, I told my university to create a center. That is my plan, to create a center where I will be able to take maybe 52 master and 52 PhD from across Africa every year. When that batch finish, I take another one. That batch finish, I take another one. Because if, for example, I say, I had a postdoc from Nigeria. For example, I had a postdoc from Benin. I got student from Namibia. I got student from Lesotho. I got some people from Morocco. So, of course, the capacity is very small. If I was having a center, as I told before, it could be very easy, so that I can even take 100 students from all over Africa. We finish, maybe, I don't know how many postdoc, they do postdoc. One, they are doing postdoc. They also supervise PhD students, and the PhD students also are involved with master thesis. Then we create something big. But so again, as I'm saying, that needs some money.
Yeah, I think with respect to that, if you do not mind, we can have a meeting with respect to that, right?
Okay.
Yeah, after now. Because when I and Dr. Kate sat down at the beginning, this was one of the things that was in our mind with respect to the Black community and all of
let me quickly answer a question.
Okay.
I take any African country, anywhere, I take postdoc, because there is somebody who asks, do you also accept postdoc from Libya? Yes.
Like I said, you will get a lot of now. One of the things we do in BMA, which is Black in Mathematics Association, is we do not have the fund.
Yes.
But we make sure that we create a funnel where people can meet and interact, and collaborate, either from the postgraduate or researchers or sort of what researchers I'm talking about, those maybe HODs, senior researchers, or those in the industry where they can collaborate. So I'm sure that with this interview we're having, you would get many mails from masters to PhD, from PhD to postdoc, and all that. And you can only do the little you can do. Then the last question I want to ask is just 1 minute, sir. Yes, diversity is something that is very, very key. Emotional intelligence is needed in this our sphere. What will you say about diversity? Yes, we are all blacks, but we're from different races. So what will you talk about the importance of diversity in the field of mathematics, and how can organizations that you know contribute to that?
First of all, I'm the man of non-locality. I like non-local behavior. I like non-local interaction. Because if I only sit with a ton people because I'm a ton from Cameroon, it means that I'm a local guy. So diversity, remember mathematics, when we are speaking about mathematics, it is in the normal situation is to observation, model, analysis, modeling, and prediction. All the theory can be there, all the apply can be there, everything can be there. And what people come from all the background, they come with different problems, they come with different background. We sit together, we discuss. When somebody who is coming from maybe Nigeria is speaking mathematics, he's not only speaking mathematics as number only, he's also speaking mathematics with the problem that he had from his village that he thinks that he can solve. The same thing happened with somebody who comes from a link form. So when we come all of us together, we will come with a pool of problem, the pool of way of thinking, then we can solve a big problem. So it is very important to have different people in the community doing mathematics together. So, but again, as I was speaking, the barrier that we have is that even we decide now that we want to organize something that all young people that just got PhD should come in that event so that we teach them about plagiarism, we teach them about this many companies that are out there making sure that they make more money, speaking them about predatory journal, telling them about this. The problem that we have is first money. The second problem is the visa thing. So those are the problem that we have now in our own continent. We have to understand that the name Nigeria, Cameroon, they are not African languages. Those are not African words. Cameroon means Rio dos Cameroon. It comes from Portugal. Now I'm in between. I learned French in school. Now I have to speak English. So sometimes I mistake French word in English. So we don't know. I don't know exactly who I am. So diversity is very important, and integrating young mathematicians from across Africa, our brother from Libya, our brother from Egypt, we come together, we collaborate together, then we get something. But how do we do that? That is the question that I'm asking myself, and that is what I want to do as the chair of African Union section of research and innovation, to see how I'm going to make sure that we are together.
That's actually amazing, and we really trust God to give you that strength and that breakthrough. And like I said, in whatever capacity you feel that we can also contribute.
Yes.
Yes. Please do not hesitate to let us know, because, like I said, we may not have the fund, but I think we have the manpower.
Yes.
We have a lot of people around us. We have a lot of people in the community. One of the things we've tried to do in the community is to make sure that we do not make it students alone, but we make it researchers at the senior level, early career researchers, so that everybody can intersect and meet together. The last thing I'm going to ask, so that we can.
Can I quickly answer a question? I saw a very important question there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's somebody who is asking how to avoid rejection. You cannot avoid rejection 100%. because I remember some fundamental paper that I wrote that I knew that this is strong, submit in one journal, rejected the same unit. Submit in another journal, rejected the same unit. Submit in another journal, accepted, and have more than 2,000 citations. So the only thing I want us to avoid is the repetition. I have to be honest with you, as editor, I received paper in maybe epidemiology or something. It is almost the same thing, the same thing, the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. You take a model, you find all these things, then you do this, you do this, you do this. I think that we should a little bit go far away from those type of research. Try to create, even if it's not big, put something new. And you know that you have done your part, even if they reject it because it's coming from here, it's not a problem, but do your part very well. So that is the only advice I can give you.
Yeah, well, maybe someday, the African continent will have its own journal with respect.
Not journal. It is where I wanted to go. African continent should have a published house.
Yeah.
We need a published house that will accommodate paper from Africa.
Exactly.
Because I noticed that you receive paper from different places of the world, a paper that does not have worth, but the ESC will send it to you to send under review. But you compare with your paper that you wrote, knowing that there is a lot of sense inside, the paper is rejected. Let me tell you something, that this fight is not only for African people, people from the Middle East, like Pakistan, India, Turkey, South America, they go through the same problem. They go through the same problem. So I think that it is time for us to stand up and do something. Create a journal, create a published house. You, the guy that is in the United States there, I think that you can contact the Voice of America. I'm in contact with one of them. Contact the Voice of America. Let us speak the challenge that we face as Black African or people from less developing country on the radio, on the TV. Explain this thing. There are many stars there in the United States. There are many stars in Africa. Maybe they can put their money together. If the government cannot do it, maybe they can put their money together. They create journal where we will be able to send our own paper. Because there is a challenge to write, because you don't have form. Now when you write the paper, you submit the paper, 2 minutes later, the paper is violently rejected. As if the editor knew that you were going to send the paper, he was waiting. That as soon as you send, he pressed the button. One of my postdocs was telling me that, Prof, this is not acceptable. She's from Turkey. A young lady, she's telling me that it's not acceptable. Why is it that I submit, it's rejected? Some of my brother from Pakistan, they cry the same. My brother from India, they cry the same. So maybe there is a time for us to sit and create a platform where we will publish our own paper, but make sure that those papers have also a good result that will attract the attention of the global north. We cannot carry on like this. So,
like I said, outside this, we still have some discussion, and I know that Dr. Kayode is noting something down because I can see his face. We've had a discussion with respect to something like this before, and we hope perhaps we'll be able to work on it. One more thing.
Yes.
There's a lot of, when I check the Excel sheet, a quite number of people will really want to collaborate with you, and I don't know how you want to manage that after now. Yes, and I don't know if you have anything to say with respect to that, so that it can actually answer the question in the hearts of many people who are here.
No, I'm ready to collaborate with anyone, providing that you are ready to do something innovative. Because most of the time, what discourages me is that when you come out with an idea, you come out with one idea that is very crazy. Some people say, no, it's very difficult, I cannot do. No, we can't say like that.
Yeah.
We cannot say like that. Let me tell you something. We are using fractional calculus based on power law. It is because it was found that it can actually take care of processes that follow power law. But when something does not follow power law, what can we do? That's why Capito Fabrizio came out with the idea of a fractional derivative based on exponential function, because the exponential function take care of processes that have paging memory. Paging memory means something start. Let me give you an example. Cruise control. A cruise control, normal cruise control, does not have, has no memory. So it can be built using the classical derivative. But in a Mercedes, for example, we have what they call superchronic. The superchronic gives us the idea of fractional calculus, no locality. You give it initial value, velocity. When you see a car in front of it, it reduces according to that car. So what I'm trying to say is that the nature cannot be modeled using power law. The nature cannot be modeled using ADC derivative, because ADC derivative is based on a kernel that has a crossover from stretch exponential to power law. So process that follow that event can be normally modeled using Atagana-Balloni derivative. But now there are other crossover in the world that are neither power law nor what do we do? We came out with my postdoc. We came out with the idea of piecewise derivative. The piecewise derivative means what? You process a phenomena according to what law it presents to you in a specific interval. An example, somebody, we are discussing here, we are all happy, we are discussing among African guys, we are happy. Then somebody knock at the door, right? Give me a bad news. What will happen? When we were discussing we are happy, my heart rate is normal. Now, what happens if somebody comes there with a bad news? Then my heart rate starts fluctuating, right? But if I have already some problem with my heart, what will happen? My heart collapse. How many processes we see there? 3 processes. Normal heart rate, irregular heart rate, 0. There is no derivative that can process that. That is why we came out with the idea of piecewise derivative, because there are many processes in nature. For example, the COVID spray. You go to certain country, you realize that the data show you that the first part is the normal distribution. Second part is log normal distribution. The last part is neither log normal or normal distribution. It has a long tail behavior. So you see that 3 processes are there together. Then the piecewise derivative was then created. Now, if you call young guy, you tell him that, create me a numerical scheme on this piecewise derivative. The guy is telling you that it is hard. You see, but you ask yourself, how did Karateodori, for example, was able alone to put the condition of existence and uniqueness of a nonlinear equation? You say, if this function verifies this, if this function verifies this, if this function verifies this. So how did they start to create mathematics? So it is time for us also to create mathematics. And don't be ashamed to create your mathematics, because they will criticize you, but if you are sure of what you are doing, you do it. So my hands are open to everyone. Let us work together. Let us change the future of our continent.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Prof. This is eye-opening, and I'm sure quite a number of us will be going back to our respective places or logging out from the meeting with a different perspective and a different mind. But this is the closest quite number of people can get to you, because of course they see you from afar. But
yes,
getting close to you, then they know your person, they know how large your heart is, they know how welcoming you are. Now that they know that they can collaborate with you, I'm sure you receive many mails and all that. And I just wanted to say thank you for giving us your precious time, because when I sent the mail to you, I had my fingers crossed. Yes, like on a more serious note, I've sent several mails, and some people will respond to you and like, okay, I have my brand. Who are you? Who are you guys? And and sometimes they will tell you like, I don't have the time. And sometimes you will try and remind them that please, will you be available for the interview? Not even a response. I read sometimes today, in my heart, I was like, will he come? Will he not come?
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Do you know why God is powerful, is almighty? Being almighty as he is the only top being, if I can call being, I don't know how I can say, in our universe or in everywhere that everybody can talk to. When I get up in the morning, I don't need appointment to talk to God.
Yeah.
And I speak to God. And I see the result of when I speak to him, then I understand that, oh, the guy heard my voice, my prayer, and he answered. And the problem that I have with African leader, let me say it, being unhappy, is the culture of I am, you are not. God put you there for other people. When we understand that I am a professor because I will have students, then the humility that we get from God will take place in Africa, and our continent will be a top continent. Yeah. Where a professor should not think that because he is a professor, he cannot be approached by a student. That a PhD student should not think that because he's doing PhD, he is better than a master student, because tomorrow that master student can become professor before him. That a professor who is a dean should not think that because he's a dean, he has to undermine the head of department. The head of department has to undermine the PhD student, because you never know what your student will become tomorrow. And God placed each and everyone in front of, in certain position to help the next generation. And that is that humility that I pray God to only keep in me. Because you take your time to write a message, and that message is specifically sent to me, I should be humble to reply. And that is what I want our senior or people that are in power to do.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep advocating this till there is a major change. A little fire there, a little fire there. At the end of the day, it will spark and grow. Prof Atagana, we just want to say thank you for honoring us. It's really a privilege. When I saw you, I was like, wow, this is Professor Atagana. Very handsome.
Yes.
He's here to have a very virtual coffee with us, and that is great. Thank you so much. I don't know if Dr. Coyote has anything to say.
I want to give a suggestion.
Okay.
I think that use your platform because it's like media. Use this platform to gather many African people, young African people. If you decide to say, after 3 months, let Prof give a lecture, I will do that. You tell me, let us give a lecture on this direction. We prepare the lecture we give.
Okay.
And we put it there for our younger one to understand. If you feel that at the end of the year we can organize a mega international conference with all the guys from the other side overseas, United States, we have our brother there, then it is okay, we organize. We look for funding, we bring young people together, and we make noise telling the government that we are not going to pay visa.
Yeah.
Because we need to start something, we need to be angry. You know, we create anger, we create something for the government to say, this guy, what did they want? Because if more than 6,000 young African people, and our brother, because our brother from Pakistan and all the other countries, Turkey and other one, we decide now that we need this conference and we are not going to pay visa. It will be something. Yeah. So think in that direction, think how we can organize, maybe after 3 months, we give a workshop. We can decide to start a workshop on what is the derivative? How can we apply it? We decide to give a workshop. We call another person, speak about maybe existence and uniqueness. We call about another person to speak about numerical analysis. We call another person functional analysis, modeling. So we make it, live, young people live. We make it live. So think in that direction also.
Yeah. In fact, thank you very much, Prof, for mentioning that. This is something I and Dr. K we've spoken about, talking about conference and how we can, we actually discussed this last year, how we can, gather the people around. You talking about it now, I hope you would not mind if I say that whenever this plan is coming up, you would be able to join us to make it.
But I told you, I'm the one who told you, so when I'm available, I will come. What else can we do? We have to do somewhere. We have to act as the corona acted in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So
we have to do something to spread knowledge. What can we do?
Yeah. Then we'll do that. In terms of the workshop as well, we would also work on that. Actually, at the moment, the Black in Mathematics Association has a research group that where it's, in fact, that research group is the Biomaths research group. We've been doing some researches. Some younger generations are actually there. We have a professor, we have a master's student, we have PhD student, and we have researchers. In fact, Dr. Kayode is the head of that team, is the one in charge of that team, and it actually splitted them, into two. And I think the pure math is coming up, but with all these that you have said, we'll intensify more. To it. One of the things we just want to do is that we want to reach more African countries so that it doesn't look like, yes, we have Ghanaians and some Cameroons around us, but we don't want it to just be Nigerians alone, because this thing is not for Nigerians, it's for all of us. And we'll keep intensifying more on that. But subsequently, I'm sure, Prof, we'll have a lot to discuss. I will itemize them, then send you a mail and Dr. Kayode, and we'll just pick it up from there.
Okay.
Dr. Kayode, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof, for your comradic spirit.
That's the word.
Your activism. I think there was a time, like I told Dr. Jim, I said I watched one of your videos and I was like, yeah, you were giving a talk and you were so passionate about research and how we Black people, Africans, we can advance. So I really want to appreciate you for that. Of course, we are going to expand. It's good that some of these suggestions are coming from you. We are going to expand the scope of, of course, we normally have these lectures, I think bi-monthly. Dr. Jimmy forgot to mention that we have a team that we call program committee that are planned programs. So what we'll do is that we are going to work with them and then to expand the scope of our program. Once again, I want to appreciate you for your time. It's a whole lot of time you have spent, almost it's getting close to 2 hours with us, and I like your promptness. You were here at the right time, and it was even us that were saying, okay, give us some time for people to, and it really shows that we are having a new culture in Africa, where we are very prompt, and I think we need to encourage people that are also here that we must embrace that culture of being prompt, of keeping to our words, and because our words are bound. So thank you very much for coming, and God bless all of us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. We'll make the video available on our YouTube channel for people to watch. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, thank you.
Prof, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.